You were never supposed to figure this out. Not because someone buried it in a government document or hid it behind a paywall, but because the system, the one you were born into, raised inside, and rewarded for obeying, runs perfectly when you don't. Here's the moment most people feel it for the first time. You're sitting in a car you're still paying off, outside an apartment you can barely afford, checking your bank balance after a month where you genuinely worked hard. And the number staring back at you is almost exactly what it was last month. You didn't blow it on anything stupid, no wild weekends, no impulse purchases, you just lived. And somehow that was enough to keep you exactly where you started. That feeling, that quiet, confusing exhaustion, that's not laziness. That's not failure. That's the system working exactly as designed. And the most dangerous part, nobody around you is talking about it, because everyone around you is doing the exact same thing, feeling the exact same way, and assuming they're the only one who hasn't figured it out yet. Today we're going to figure it out, together. Let me tell you about a myth that was sold to an entire generation, maybe yours. Work hard, stay loyal, follow the rules, and prosperity will follow. It was the promise baked into every graduation speech, every parent's advice, every inspirational poster on every office wall. And for a very specific window of time in a very specific economic era, it was almost true. Your grandparents lived it. Some of your parents felt the tail end of it. But something shifted, quietly, without announcement, and the rules changed while the advice stayed exactly the same. Here's the financial reality most people never get handed directly. Wages, in real terms, adjusted for what things actually cost, have barely moved in decades for the average worker. But in that same period, housing costs have tripled in many cities. Education has become a six-figure gamble. Healthcare, childcare, groceries, the baseline cost of simply existing has exploded, and the gap between what hard work pays and what a stable life costs has become a chasm that no amount of extra hours can bridge alone. But nobody tells you this. Instead, you get told to work harder. Here's where the psychology gets dangerous. When we work hard and don't see results, our brain doesn't naturally conclude that the system is broken. It concludes that we are. That's not weakness, that's human. We are wired to look inward before outward. We internalize failure because it gives us the illusion of control. If it's my fault, then I can fix it. I can work harder. I can cut another expense. I can sleep less, grind more, sacrifice longer. And so the cycle repeats, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're playing the right game on a tilted board and blaming yourself for the tilt. This is the hidden psychological tax of the modern economy. It doesn't just take your money, it takes your self-belief. It makes high-functioning, genuinely talented people feel like permanent underperformers. And quietly, it keeps them running because someone who believes they haven't worked hard enough will never stop to question whether working harder is even the right answer. Let's talk about someone you probably know. Maybe it's you. They make decent money, not rich but respectable. 60, 70, maybe 80,000 a year. 10 years ago, that felt like the finish line. That was the number they said would mean they'd made it. And they got there, and they looked around, and nothing felt like they'd made it. Because somewhere between then and now, the finish line moved. The apartment they wanted in a decent neighborhood is now $1,500 more a month than it was when they started saving. The car needs replacing. The student loan is still there. It's always still there. Their salary went up modestly over the years, but somehow their savings account looks exactly the same as it did when they earned half as much. This isn't a mystery. This is lifestyle inflation meeting stagnant wages, meeting a financial system that profits directly from the confusion. Every time you earn more, the baseline of what it costs to live at your level rises with it, sometimes faster. The brands you buy upgrade slightly, the subscriptions accumulate, the social circle expects a certain type of dinner, a certain kind of vacation, a certain version of you, and you keep running to stay in the same place, except now the pace is faster and you're more tired. The hamster wheel doesn't speed up because you chose to run faster. It speeds up because someone turned up the dial. And they did it gradually enough that you never noticed.